So looking at this ACC schedule release, and over the course of this program, make sure you guys subscribe to at the CFB Nation on YouTube. Follow them with the same username on Twitter as well. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to whatever podcast platform you use. The College Football Showdown. Me and Jalen give you guys 2 episodes a week. No off season. We truly enjoy what we do. We are passionate about college football and love to push the sport forward. So when I looked at the ACC schedules, and we'll break this down more even further on the next episode of Governor of College Football, 2 things just popped in my mind immediately, and I'm sorry to the rest of the illustrious programs of the ACC, but we're really going to talk about 2 programs. The first program we're going to talk about is Syracuse. Syracuse is looking really good next year. First and foremost, Fran Brown. His introductory press conference, and if you weren't ready to go put on an orange uniform and play for this man, you don't have a pulse. You don't have a pulse at all, because that guy made me want to go play for him. Like the opening press conference interview was so well, and granted, yes, it's an interview. You know what the press conference is. You got the job. You're kind of prepared to look good during the introductory conference, but he went above and beyond in that conference, and kudos to him. He did a damn good job. Look at the quarterback position in Kyle McCord. Ohio State made a pivotal mistake last year when they allowed Devin Brown and Kyle McCord's quarterback competition to bleed into the regular season. All offseason, all of spring ball, most of fall camp, we heard that Kyle McCord was going to be the guy. Then like the last 10 days right before the regular season, we're talking about days leading up to the regular season, we're hearing that, some of the coaches really like Devin Brown. What? So I think Ohio State, I think the fan base kind of looked at Kyle McCord in a way, because we seen at times he was up and down. But if Ohio State gave him the full support, gave him the keys, he wouldn't have to look over his shoulder. I believe he'd have had a lot more success. This is one of my bold predictions for the 2024 college football season. I truly believe that Kyle McCord will be a top 5 passer in the nation. You look at just the weapons that they have at Syracuse, and they have a very friendly schedule, which we're going to go over in a second. But look at running back LeQuint Allen. Had over 1,000 yards last year and 9 touchdowns. And that was in his sophomore campaign. I believe his junior campaign is going to be even better. Look at Oronde Gasden is coming back. Yeah, some people call him wide receiver. Yeah, some people call him tight end. It don't really matter. He's a football player at the end of the day. You look at what they got on the defensive side. Guy from Baltimore, Maryland, my guy Marlow Wax, had a great time talking with him and Garrett Schrader last year at ACC Media Days. This team has been constructed the right way, and we have to give Dino Babers his flowers, because he did a great job in constructing this team in this way. I was just so sad when he got fired, but you look at this Fran Brown hire. This is a slam dunk hire, and I believe that this team is going to be what Louisville was in the 2023 season. Syracuse is going to be in the 2024 season. Let's look at this schedule. So they opened up back to 4 straight home games versus Ohio, versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a budding program. I'm a big believer in Brent Key. I was at ACC Media Days last year. I don't think there was a coach there that impressed me more than him. Probably with the exception of Jeff Brown, but Brent Key, he's just hilarious. He was telling people how it is from the beginning. I like him a lot. Then they play home versus Stanford. I'm not sure if they released the time for that game yet, but that's a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. Then they play versus Holy Cross. They should start the season off 4-0, I think. The Georgia Tech game would definitely be a difficult game, but I believe they should start the season off 4-0. That trip out west to Nevada is going to be difficult versus a budding program in UNLV. I still will edge them in that game. At NC State, that's the game where I'm going to really find out what this Syracuse team is. NC State, for the better part of 3 or 4 years, has been a staple Tier 2 team in the ACC. Every year I've been kind of waiting for them to make that jump. I thought last year would be the year that they make the jump when they got Brennan Armstrong. I thought with a slightly favorable schedule, I thought that things would work out, but Brennan Armstrong really didn't work out last year. MJ Morris, great freshman campaign, didn't really work out last year. So I still see NC State as a Tier 2 team, and they can enter that Tier 1 conversation if things go right this year. But that will be a tough game in Raleigh and a tough atmosphere that's certainly going to be the game where, like a measuring stick game for Syracuse. Then the next game we look at is at Pitt. I don't know what we're going to get out of Pitt last year, because you look at, not this past season, but the season before that, they one of the darlings in the ACC. This past season was abysmal. It was very bad. And they made a lot of changes in the offseason, so I'm interested to see how well this Pitt team is. But this 3-game stretch at UNLV, at NC State, at Pittsburgh, I think if they could come out of that with one loss, hopefully it's one, if they're going to be match kind of what Louisville was last year. Virginia Tech, another program I believe in. I've been at quite a few Virginia Tech games. When you're in Lane Stadium and you on that field and that Into the Sandman, come on, I'm telling you, it's an outer body experience. The only way I can explain it is a drug that you have and you're chasing that high. The first time you're chasing that high every time. But they have that game at home. That's a winnable game. Boston College, Jeff Hafley, man. If we look at Jeff Hafley, I mean, early October, man, that man was on a hot seat. They was ready to fire that man. It was pretty much, you don't win your next 2 games, we're firing you. Nah, Jeff Hafley was not having it at all. Another guy that I've been able to meet in person and talk to quite a few times, and I'm a big believer in Boston College, but I believe that's just one of those games. The spread will probably be 3 or 6 points. Syracuse can possibly win that. At Cal, that'd be a difficult game. West Coast game. Maybe they could pull that off versus UConn versus Miami. What Miami team did we get this year? Do Mario Cristobal have his y'all must have forgot moment? Does Cam Ward remind the nation of why he's one of the best passers in the nation headed into 2024? Syracuse has a very favorable schedule. I could certainly see them going 10-2. Best bet 11-1. I think that's the height of their schedule. And I can certainly see a situation where they're 9-3 or 8-4. But I believe they could be a tier 1 team in the ACC this year based upon their schedule. I'm excited for the Syracuse team. This is a team I'm going to try to get out and see. I know Nino went there a couple games last year. No, not certain if I'm going to get out there for the spring games. I can't wait for spring game season. I can't wait to talk to Moon. He's kind of our liaisons between us and the schools. We have a network of 60 schools that we can go to pretty much anytime. So I can't wait for him to start saying, hey, you want to go here? You want to go? He always give me options. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. As I always like to say, there are no moral victories in a sport that has survived and advanced. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, y'all already know what it is. 1. Governor of college football. We're going to recap ACC.
Hey, that's CJ
defensive minds. They have to be better on that side of the ball.